My life is distorting.
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
You're listening to the sound
of Lagos.
Mainland FM 98.3.
Alright, welcome back. Thank you for standing by. Time check right now is 8:40 a.m. and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. It's time for Mainland Focus. What we do on Mainland Focus is we pick one or two, usually two stories, two trending stories from the papers, and then we flesh things out, put some spotlight on it, open up the phone line for you to share your thoughts and contributions as regards the focal points for the day. Before we open up the phone line, of course, we have our analyst who would also give his input before we get your own contribution. So we have Fuhad Saheed with us via the phone line, and my name still remains Mobola Sandra. Now, we have two focal points, as mentioned earlier. The first is as regards the story from the Guardian newspaper that says that the Punch, rather, 70% of the Southwest private school teachers are unqualified, and that data is coming from the regulatory body for teachers. That's the Teachers Regulatory, yes, that's this TRCN. Let's put it that way. All right, so they came forward and said, 70% of the private school teachers in the Southwest, yes, thank you very much, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, claiming that 70% of private school teachers in the Southwest are unqualified. And putting into perspective, the Southwest states in Nigeria are Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Oyo, and Ekiti. Okay, and we're asking, how bad is the situation? Fuhad was saying something that if the Southwest has it this bad, I wonder what, some other parts of the country would have it, since, the Southwest is known for their love, or I don't know if it's love or honor, or they just love
better level of education, I need.
Yes, for education, comparing with other parts of the country. All right, so how bad is the situation when you have a whooping 70% of the private school teachers in that entire region are not qualified? How bad is it, and how can this issue or this problem be solved? What really led to the proliferation of substandard private schools? We mentioned earlier that you see some schools, a lot of schools actually, all these private schools, due to the fact that a lot of people find it easier or cheaper to go to all of these private schools. You see a lot of private schools with government approved on it. I mentioned earlier that in Mushin, for example, at least 2 schools on every street in Mushin, 2 private schools. Fuad mentioned something earlier that they just employ anyone. You have an SSC, someone who just has a school set, having to teach people that are sitting for school sets. All right. Okay, so you have situations like that, but then on a more serious note, how bad is the situation looking at the education system generally? What does it mean that we are producing in the Southwest when you have 70% of the teachers in the private schools unqualified? That's one of the focal points this morning. Moving on to the second one is as the story that we have as regards TINUBU'S promise to fight corruption and protect judges, and that is on page 27 of the Guardian newspaper. Against the backdrop of the president-elect's visit to Rivers State on the invitation of the governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, to inaugurate 2 projects, a flyover and a court complex. All right. So on the day that he was inaugurating the court complex, that's where the president-elect made that particular statement, saying that he has promised to fight corruption and protect judges, because the judiciary is very important for that sector, the arm, to be respected. But then Fuhad said some things as regards that, which is reason why we're asking, what should be the focus of the incoming government when it comes to fighting corruption? This is not the first time that we'll be hearing that, corruption is going to be dead, done, and done with. The last administration, the mantra for the last administration was, corrupt was supposed to be corruption free.
Zero tolerance to corruption.
Zero tolerance to corruption. Thank you. So what now should be the focus of the incoming administration when it comes to fighting corruption? Is it, how much of protection should we give to the judiciary when it comes to the issue of corruption? I would look at it from the point of, the judiciary generally. I remember, the cash crunch era, Fuhad, where we were having conversations as regards jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The highest in the land. How well has the country done in the fight against corruption from 1999 till date? If you were to give a score analysis, what would you say? How would you say the country has fared as regards corruption in the country? So that's coming from the backdrop of the president-elect statement saying that he's ready and willing to fight corruption and protect judges. What should be the focus of the incoming administration when it comes to fighting corruption? How much of protection should we give to the judiciary when it comes to the issue of corruption? And how well has the country done in the fight against corruption from 1999 till date? Is this something that is unsolvable? Why has it been a challenge for all of the administrations that we have been having till date? We have ancestors still dropping money for us from the above. We have, a certain former minister whose name still comes up in papers years and years after, she left, years and years after her administration left office. And, we still have houses and, everything. So, how well has the country done in the fight against corruption? And is it, totally unsolvable? Fuhad, let's hear your thoughts before we open up the phone lines.
Again, for the issue of the schools, again, I was shocked, but not completely surprised. Because that was why I wanted to situate it properly, that we're talking about private schools. Because I know for public schools, a lot of them are employed with either NC or at least you have a bachelor's of education, which means you are well trained, as a teacher to teach people. But for private schools, again, the proliferation came as a result of the failure of our government to maintain standards in our public schools. Some of them, I went to a public secondary school, for example, standard. And I'm sorry, I don't think I'm encouraged to send my child to a public secondary school now. I'm sorry. It's just, again, you go to the schools and you see what obtains there.
And
the classes are overcrowded.
It was the standard then, but now.
Then, yeah. So the classes are overcrowded. The teachers are not even committed to teaching anybody. You have students who don't even get into the school until maybe 10 o'clock in the morning and all of that. So there's hardly any parents out there now that is completely committed to sending their children to a public secondary school, a public primary school, except for maybe the unity school, the federal government colleges and all of those ones who still have some level of standard. And it doesn't come cheap. You understand what I'm saying? So you have parents who, because of desperation and all of that, look at the private schools as alternative. But unfortunately, the proliferation has now brought up a lot of substandard private schools who don't have the money to employ qualified teachers. Like you said, a school starts teaching someone preparing to write a school certificate exam. What kind of quality would they get? And then, so what they do is just employ anybody who is a graduate. But teaching requires its own training. There are skills that comes with your ability to be able to teach effectively. And that's why you have teachers training schools, you have colleges of education to train teachers, and even faculties of education in universities. So it's a big problem. I think the regulatory agencies and bodies need to look into that aspect. But ultimately, it is about setting standards for our public schools and private schools, and to still have to go back to the government doing the right thing. So that's on that. On the issue of fighting corruption, again, whatever statement the incoming government or the incoming president is saying, the president-elect, I see it as just a political statement that comes out of occasions, when politicians are in a particular event, they just make political statements. From 1999 till date, we've failed as a nation to tackle corruption. And there's this famous statement, this very popular statement that, look, if you don't fight corruption, corruption will kill the country. And that's why we are in this mess. That's why we can't account for our crude oil. That's why subsidy has become a problem. That's why we have budget deficit. That's why we have infrastructure deficit. That's why there's no power in the country. That's why our health sector is in chaos. That's why the schools are not properly funded. It's still all about corruption. So it will require some level of commitment, intentional action, not just sloganeering or statements to really fight corruption. And we need to protect the judiciary because that's the last hope of the common man. So that again brings the issue of the autonomy of the judiciary, financial autonomy for the judiciary. Even the appointment of judges and magistrates has to be looked into. We need a complete overhaul of the system that guarantees complete autonomy to the judiciary. And until we do that, it's just going to be mere sloganeering if we talk about fighting corruption.
All right, and being intentional, and also the fact that this is something we need to pay attention to as regards 70% of the entire private school teachers in the Southwest region are unqualified. So now let's get your thoughts as regards the two focal points that we have pushed forward this morning on Mainland Focus. The number to call is 0913 6000 410. 0913 6000 410. That's for phone calls. For text messages and WhatsApp messages, you can send it to 0913 6000 430. 0913 6000 430 is strictly for text messages and WhatsApp messages. If you call it, we won't be able to pick that call. It's not wired for calls. So you have just 2 minutes. Please go straight to the point. Would appreciate if you can all stick to the 2 minutes that's allotted to every caller. Thank you very much. Now let's all get your contribution. Good morning.
Morning, Sandra.
Good morning, Ufoma.
Thank you very much. Let me start from the statement of the government, the president-elect. It's just a joking statement. There's nothing concrete on it. When Buhari was coming on, he also promised that he's going to fight corruption. Even though looking at this from Obasanjo, Jonathan, and the late Yar'Adua, combined the corruption that was there during the day, the Buhari was the most worst corruption. So what corruption TINUBU is coming out? He is a king of corruption. He's in a man that you don't ban.
It's okay. It's okay. Unproven, allegations and all of that. Let's stay focused. What exactly can be done as regards corruption in this country? Is it that it is unsolvable, or we should just keep going on and accepting the fact that we have people, in place who are, supposed to make things difficult for us as regards, the economy of the country? Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm really enjoying the topic of today's program.
Right.
But I really want to make comment about the 70%. But before that, my name is Charles. I'm calling from Amowo.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Please go ahead.
Yes, I haven't been a teacher, sincerely speaking. That's a way. Somehow it's true because the schools themselves, they go for cheap attitude, and the reason why it's so is because the lot of graduates from different fields, and the only way they can survive is through teaching. That is why we have, aside from SSC holders, even those that are not qualified to teach the subject, are coerced to teach, just for them to make profit. So, but what I think the government should do, because even the teachers, the institution council, they are not doing their work. They are not really doing the normal training and orientation they're supposed to do. But the government should try as much as possible to regulate the standard of this service. It started everywhere. Every instance coming from the state, everywhere you see services due to tackle, and so many other laws that are going on with these services. The government should wake up and do something about it. The issue of the president-elect that says we fight corruption. Why said that when we entered, even the previous government say, I don't know when this whole thing will materialize. When we have a country where they will the corruption, people keep promising what they cannot achieve. To me, it's a political challenge, and corruption will continue. Because they are at the end of that period, are also corrupt. So it is not something we should get because action must be taken. If the present government, present elect is sincere.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't really need to
All right.
because I need to tell a person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's okay.
God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so two focal points for this morning. Thank you very much. We appreciate. Let's stick within the 2 minutes that's allotted to all the callers. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Olaiwola from the guy.
All right, Olaiwola, please go ahead.
My contribution toward the teacher 70% unqualified teacher in the Southwest. If you look at the kind of people that are going into teaching today in the old Southwest, most of them did not have the NC holder. And most of them that are also graduate, they are not coming from the they are not coming from the Faculty of Education. Just because of inability or no job availability in the society. So they just go into the teaching. That is why the teaching council decided that most of the teachers are not qualified, most of the private schools. And my second thought on the Reverend Father, the Archbishop of Abuja, that is why we always say that when you are obtaining some kind of a position in the society, you have to serve as a neutral person. Not because everybody do not have a political ambition.
Okay.
May I use this case now? If you go to Benue State now, the Reverend Father, alias...
Hello?
Hello?
Which of the focal points are you referring to with this story now?
I'm referring to your newspaper headline.
No. We have a focus. We have two focal points and two stories that we're looking at now. So
thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I would say so. His own contribution was as regards the 70% unqualified private school teachers. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Sandra.
Ogaju.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The topic is very interesting, and I don't need to talk.
All right.
Yeah, for one thing, let me talk to the topic on education.
Okay.
I think the first question I want to ask is, how many of those schools are standards? Because you can't have a standard school. If you have one school that are not standard, then you don't expect them to have personnel that are standard. So they cannot just pick only the personnel and use as a yardstick to measure the standard of education. So we start the first thing. But if I have a very standard school, it's just like Mainland FM is a standard media house. So you equally employ people who will come and maintain the standard, the brief of the program. So the body should first look at how do we standardize our educational system. Because if you take care of that, the personnel will automatically be taken care of. You can't have a person who will buy maybe a vehicle of 2024, 2023 model, then you now go and look for one downfall driver and say you want to put it there. You want to look for a driver who will send to a driving training school, do all the necessary to make sure the document of the driver is up to date and the rest of them. So let us go back, start from how do we standardize our educational system? If we get it right, all these other ones, they are just as good as... but I study education at the University of Lagos. I know that there are so many things that are wrong with our system. Who is the people... I can look at the people that are in charge of educational quality departments. Some of them, they are not supposed to be there. Because they don't have the detail of our curriculum. I was in one government facility, Ministry of Education, in one of the states. I asked them, please, do you have the latest copy of the National Policy of Education? In one ministry, do not have the copy. Then what are you supervising? So if we're able to get the standard right, then all these other ones will fall in place. The other topic on the issue of protecting judges.
You've used your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. I appreciate it. Let's do it within the 2 minutes that's allocated. We have two focal points. The first one is as regards 70% of the private school teachers in the entire Southwest are unqualified. as stated by the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. And of course, the second focal point is as regards the statement from the president-elect who promised to fight corruption and protect judges from vices. What exactly is the marriage or the unfortunate marriage that Nigeria seems to have with corruption, and how can we get out of that quagmire? 0913-6000-410. That's the number to call for text messages and WhatsApp messages. It's 0913-6000-430. Hello, good morning.
Fuhad, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Can you afford to pay a qualified teacher?
What is your name and where are you calling from?
Joe from Barega. Joe from Barega. I'm asking for what?
I'm not a school owner.
What do you have school?
Okay.
I give up.
Oh my goodness.
If you can't answer the question, thank you.
I'm not a school owner.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Wait, I don't understand. Fuhad, please help me out here. Mr. Joe is saying that if you can't afford school teachers, employ the half-baked ones. Why are you opening school if you can't afford?
Is that what he's trying to say?
That's my interpretation.
Well, I don't know. Because the question they asked me, the answer basically is I don't own a school, so.
I'm looking at it from another perspective.
Okay, well.
Saying that, can you afford? If you can't afford, then why are we
But
talking
honestly,
about
we
it?
need to look at our system, really. You go to most of these private schools, you just shake your head. I saw one at Idiaraba, I think, on Thursday.
No. The Idiaraba one, let's not go there. Hello, good morning.
Sandra, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Peter.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Fuhad.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Peter.
Yes, sir. Do you know that I have a brother in the church that was assistant head teacher in one of the private schools in Solomon? He had a wife and 4 children. His salary was 15,000 naira. Eh? Now, why do you go to the school when you don't have the capacity to pay qualified teachers? Go and check the lifestyle of these proprietors and proprietors. In fact, some of them open this school to make money and buy the latest stuff, build their houses. Instead about what they call in children, that's why they cannot afford the services of qualified teachers. I am telling you of what I know. I work for schools. So I have been to many schools. I have seen what is happening. I work for both private and public schools as their photographer. Now, the point remains that since we have not really focused on improving education, whether from the private sector or from the public sector, the situation will remain. Now, I want to ask a question on the statement of the Mobola on the TINUBU. The Constitution says us that in a democracy there are 3 arms of government: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. I think Constitution should have provided safety or security for these arms independently. Should it be the executive man that wants to protect the judiciary, and will that guarantee the independence of the judiciary? So I think it is the Constitution that will protect the judiciary, not the executive, because for me that will mean corruption. The point remains that as I finalize, you see, when somebody says we are not going to start fighting the government, I will fight corruption. If corruption does not kill us, we will kill corruption. Where are we today? Unprecedented corruption. None of them will fight corruption. Because sometimes the is so corrupt.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Monse. Appreciate. However, Fuhad, I'd just like to ask a quick question. Yes, I know they are independent of each other, but then they need each other to work.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look at it, one implements, one signs off, one interprets.
That's the way the government works. It's supposed to be a complete package. Although there are supposed to be checks and balances, supposed to be independent of one another, but the reality is that they are also interwoven in their functions too.
Well, that's it. One, the legislative, they make the laws. One implements. That's yes,
and that one executes the law.
Judiciary interprets, and then the executive executes. So that's why it's important for this. You know, that's why we're looking at this statement. If actually it's possible for there to be some sort of protection for the judiciary, especially looking at what happened during the cash crunch era. You remember what happened?
Yeah.
The Supreme Court gave an order, and then it took such a long time before we even heard anything from the executive, because the Supreme Court said, do this. The executive is supposed to execute.
I think that's brilliant, Sandra, because again, how do you protect the judiciary when court verdicts are given and then you are not executed immediately? So again, if we're talking about the judiciary functioning well, we have to ensure that, look, verdicts from the courts are implemented immediately. And again, autonomy of the judiciary, very, very important.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just calling from my desk.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chief. Please go ahead.
Very beautiful topic. Because most of the problem that we have in this country can be traced to education. Education, occupies about 40% of our situation. And if you can get education right, I think we are good to go. But having said that, I want to implore Fuhad, because I know we will have enough time to do justice on Sunday, to bring this topic again. It is very, very important. So, using that, I want to tell you that there are a lot of stakeholders that constitute success in education. One of us, we are educated, that means at one level or the other. We have the parents, we have the government, we have the students themselves, then we have the teachers. And the implication of this is deep. It's deeper than what we are talking about. And it is localized. They say Southwest. UK is not taking any certificate that is produced from Southwest might not be tenable again. I'm telling you, that's why we have to go give us the basis of their data. Please. It is very, very important. They are rubbishing our education in the Southwest, which it is contestable. Is it generalized? Is it, you cannot even know this is one state in Southwest. I mean, you may not be able to get everything right. Even state, not to talk of the whole of Southwest.
Thank you.
So, that is that. And the corruption. Corruption is
you are 2 minutes. Hello, sir. You are 2 minutes in already.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate. Fuhad, recently JAMB released results. It was not a pretty sight.
Yes,
it was not. I saw some results and I said I saw 132. And
a parent called me yesterday and said, "Oh, my daughter scored 240 something," and he was so annoyed with the daughter. And I said, 243. You better celebrate and encourage the girl and in fact buy gifts to her. What I've been seeing has been 110, 130, 120.
132.
I told him, I said, please we'll go and celebrate the young girl. 243 in this era.
That person that has 132 is now teaching in a private school.
And you see the problem.
That's it. All right, I have here, good morning, Jamil. Good morning, I'm Jamil from Lagos. What they said about 70% of private school in Southwest is true, seriously, because of payment. Even in some headlines today, Southwest rates high. Ogun is rated for using diabolical means. Oyo State is high rate of domestic violence. Oshun has high rate illicit acts. What is happening in the Southwest? But then, so this payment issue for it seems to be a major, point that people are bringing out as regards this 70% conversation. But then, what do you say?
Again, the schools they are not really standard schools. They are makeshift arrangement. In fact, a lot of them don't even write common entrance or WAEC. When it's time to write common, they go to a bigger school. So in these schools, to what amount do the parents pay as school fees? Very low, meager amount.
I've taught in a school that they were paying 2.5.
Yeah, so how much do they pay you as a teacher?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Mainland FM.
Fuhad, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, and good morning.
Yes. Your name. We're excited to hear from you.
IG from Lekki.
Okay. IG from Lekki. Okay.
Yeah. So, what I'm saying, you see, my sister, first of all, the issue of teachers unqualified is that one news? Oh, no news. They don't, and they so annoying that people don't bring that data. What are you doing about it? What are you telling us? It's just like today's government people that they will bring data that we know. Just to tell us, that's the work we are doing, we are paying them. They come out, oh, crime rate is 90%, oh, unemployment is 80% in Nigeria. And you are a minister or something, or you are in government, and you are telling us. And then you go to his house and sleep and use our money to buy a bag of rice and enjoy it. And as when you, I don't know, so I see what you promise. I see what you promise me to tackle corruption. Okay, no problem. Let us see. It's not like you say that. You say that. Anyway, finally, I want to talk about this. You say I'm not happy with your station for something, Sandra. You are a very good presenter. I love you so much. Fuhad is excellent. So I don't know what happened some weeks ago, some months ago, when they brought this lady called Sage. I don't know, it's not really, I don't know what you guys did not think about the race. I know, I'm not telling you, I don't like the thing is, I was in a bar yesterday, and people were discussing, they came to talk about it. And everybody was talking about, she talked like, maybe she had a gun to her head to be in a hurry, or she had got slam in her mouth, you know, quickly, and then she's always defending. Government, no!
It's always defending government.
Something or something, talking about, even for sometimes you have to be talking, so don't be talking, so be talking like.
Mr. IG, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much for the feedback. But I can be certain as regards one thing. She's very logical. There's no defending or no defending there. Whatever she sees as the report is brutal, straight to the point. I think that is what he's trying to bring out from that one.
Really, people have to understand that professionalism in this job may not necessarily pander to the wishes of the listeners and the people, because again we are guided as a station. We have regulators and
yes.
But again, that's a feedback that we'll
thank you. We appreciate Mr. IG. He said he was in a bar yesterday, and they were talking about Sage.
Very early in the morning.
Sage has blown. Sage is not popular.
IG in the morning on the bar, or maybe later in the evening.
Why is Sage in the? Why is IG in the bar? No.
We don't know the time.
We don't know the time. We don't know the time. But thank you very much, IG. We appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much. We'll see what I'm sure Sage is also getting. All right, let's take some messages. Hi, Mainland FM. The issue of private teachers having low qualifications. I would say that this is based on the schools looking for teachers that can pay peanuts too, due to high level of unemployment, and also make millions on the heads of these children as school fees. Also, we hope that most of these schools don't even fail their children due to the monies the parents pay
just push them
as school fees, and in return, it affects the quality of the education of the children that graduate from these schools. On the issue of corruption, well, at this level, we are in it. It's corruption that is fighting us. We now boast of the most corrupt in our country. Until we have a leader who is one for all, then we can fight corruption. Also, strict legislation, like the one in Asia, that will also help. As usual, let us preach against ethnic and tribal bigotry. Sean from Festac, God bless you. I also have here, good morning, Mainland FM. No government can fight corruption in this country because they are all corrupt. Did I believe in judiciary? Wike was just to be good to them so that he won't have problem with them after his tenure. Rahim from Agege, why so pessimistic? Look up, just have
let's do care of his time,
Good morning. This is the worst time to be an INEC chairman. How did we get here? Okay. Well, thank you, Senior Michael from Ikeja. Thank you very much. It's talking about the tribunal. Okay. All right. We'll also have Abraham Ayotunde from Oshogbo in Osun State. I am not surprised of the president-elect's statements because they are mere political statements spoken out of desperation. Anyway, let's see how it turns out. We are watching. Solution 1. In order to fight corruption, EFCC and other agencies in charge of corrupt practices, including our judiciary, should be free of political affiliation and influence. 2. There should be law that any politician that have been accused of corrupt practices or have any criminal case should not contest for any public office. 3. There should also be a law that minimum requirements for government offices should be MSc.
Now, you want to start Wala.
Good morning and have a lovely
Why are you saying
weekend.
MSc holders are not corrupt or can't be corrupt?
I'm even looking at it from
Yeah,
the point
doctors
that
are-
we are fighting 70% of unqualified teachers. So even if we have MSc people, how sure are we that that MSc is, MSc? Hello, good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Kangbelina.
Okay, Belina here. Over what?
Good morning.
I greet you.
I greet you too.
70% of teachers are unqualified. I would like to rephrase that headline. 70% of the schools that you have in the Southwest are not qualified to be schools. I tell you. And I'll give you an example. I live here in Mafoluku. There's a particular school that is situated close to where I live. The person rented two rooms in the public yard.
Is it school or
That's where
crèche?
the school is located. 2 rooms inside the public yard.
Is it
So
a
people will be
school?
in that school
Is it
and
a
some people
school?
will be cooking
Is
and
it
some
a
people will be cleaning.
I know. I'm just saying. Is it a school or a
I'm putting the
crèche?
blame. Some people don't rent a warehouse, a country school, or a shop. You know, I don't go around and checking. And they are saying about the qualification. The qualification. So I've given you a picture of what's happening in Mafuluku where I live. And you say you think I'm lying?
No.
Sandra,
How would you
am I lying?
It's a general problem.
Two
and we see these
rooms in
things
a
too.
public yard. It's a school. I don't want to talk of corruption because people who this is through a corrupt electoral process. They are talking about fighting corruption. I don't want to talk about them. They even have corruption cases hanging on their neck and they want to sell their bill. I don't want to talk about that one. Good morning.
You really didn't want to talk about it.
Good morning. He didn't say anything about it. Right. Thank you very much. Good morning. I just
my
wanted
goodness.
to, clarify that, we have crèche, we have daycare. It's not the same thing as school. That's what I wanted to just clarify. Are you sure it's a school? That was just, I'm not saying it. I mean,
We see these things.
we
too,
see
yeah.
these things happen.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I appreciate you for there. I'm Uncle Slow John from Mainland, from that area of Matogu.
All right,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Yes, I want to categorize the schools. We have Akara school. Guys, maybe that's what Ukagwena is talking about.
Akara school.
Yes, we have Akara school. We have guys in one category of schools. Even the report they are saying 74% or 75%. No, it's not. I don't believe so because some schools are not qualified. My wife works in a private school. Well qualified, master holder. So when you say qualification or no, it's not really. And schools where they pay, where they don't have qualified teachers, what really happens is that the environment of that place, just as your standard said, where they pay at 2005, the school fees there, how much do they pay? In the environment like my area here in Matogu, where the parents, most of them, they are retired civil servants or artisans, how much are they going to pay for school fees? So the level of school fees they pay also determine the type of teacher they employ. Young school leavers who just finish schools, they get in such places. Most of those ones, you don't categorize them as the same time with modern schools in maybe in Lagos or in Ikeja or other places. So the write-up or the information is a mix-up. There is an area here the teachers are not qualified, but then go and check the environment. They are paying little school fees. So the school fees they are paying, that's what the professors also will use to pay. Where they are paying 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 as school fees. If they ever go to that environment, you know that the teachers they are qualified. Yeah, you're in Osun, in Lagos, in Benin, wherever. Just check the environment where they are paying high school fees. Go there, the teachers are qualified, well certified. From maybe NCO down to education or BSc and the rest, who have gone to teacher trainings.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I know that the system, even professors are not to qualify. If you want to break down all our certificates, no, don't qualify. In Nigeria today, online chemical for soap we cannot produce in Nigeria. We are still importing.
Thank you.
I should tell what this student, go and check it. The chemicals are from abroad. And yeah, we have qualified chemistry, we have qualified this. Who are professors, the doctor? What do you want, doctor? Apart from the medical doctors and teachers,
Thank
who
you.
are really qualified in Nigeria?
Thank you.
We are economists like this. Which industry is working?
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate. Please, 2 minutes up. Let's stick within the 2 minutes time frame that's stipulated to every caller. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. You're on to Mainland Focus. Time check right now is 20 minutes past 9 a.m. And we have two focal points on the front burner this morning. The first is as regards the headline here that says 70% of the private school teachers in the Southwest are unqualified, and that data is coming from the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN. And the second focal point is because the statement from the president-elect on his visit to Port Harcourt, saying that promising to fight corruption and make corruption unattractive for judges and other legal officials working in the judiciary. All right, and we're asking questions as regards what exactly is this unholy union that Nigeria seems to have with corruption, and what is the way forward with it, especially since 1999 till date. This democratic this democratic era that we're in. 0913 6000 410, that's for phone calls. You have just 2 minutes. And 0913 6000 430, that's for text message and WhatsApp. Please turn off your radio set. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Shepherd. I'm calling from Ethiopia.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yes, my own focus when I want to put in my mouth this morning is about our education. This our education is falling, and we don't know what to do, and no solution to it. So when we were in primary school, during the Babangida regime that time, we will see public school will go strike more than how many years, how many months. But I want to say it, those who go to free education, they are the governors now. They are the one that even spoiled the education for us. Now, private school now is the one that have priority more than primary school. Oh, that's right.
How with you?
I go to Army Children's School. But our teacher, they are best teacher then. But now all my children, it's a private school, I send all of them. Is it supposed to be like that?
No, no.
If you see, I live in the barrack here. You see public school and private school. Those who are in private school, they need to abuse those public ones that they are going to Akara and Momo school. You understand or that's right?
I'm with you.
So the way I don't know what do the thing. Free education, we don't see free education again. Those who benefit in free education, they are the ones that punishing us. They create university, they create secondary school, private secondary school. So what is the solution? What is the way forward?
I think, Shegun, yeah, thank you so much, Shegun. I think he has brought up a very valid point. Some of our public schools are dead, Sandra. We need to say it. During the Ajibola era, it was not just about free education. He said free and qualitative education at all levels, and they achieved it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun, for your job. Yes, we appreciate. Okay, just as you mentioned, free and
qualitative, and it was free and qualitative too.
Unlike now. Yeah, I have a young girl in a public school that they use Yoruba to teach them.
It's unfortunate. We just have,
again, use Yoruba to teach English.
And what we have done to our primary schools and secondary schools, public primary and secondary schools, we are doing to the university. That's why you see politicians setting up private universities and all of that, and not paying attention to our public.
So there are some people taking advantage of this poor system.
Yeah, of course, to take advantage, there's a gap. Like I guess, who would send a child down to a public primary school? You have to be the lowest of the lowest, really, in the society to do that.
All right, let's take some messages. We'll be back to phone call, or let's take one or two phone calls and then wrap things up with messages. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello. I'm hearing you. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's what goes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Timothy.
Thank you. I'm calling from Ojo.
Okay.
I just have a question to ask Mr. Fuhad this morning.
Okay.
Concerning on the second issue. If I have found as me, Timothy, let me use myself as an example. If I have found broken any law of this nation, can I also take an oath of office as a president to protect the same law?
For you to have been found to break any law, we need to find whether you have been convicted. You've been tried and convicted. Because
Yes.
it's not
You know,
just
there are, I'm coming.
Okay.
There are sections of the law. I'm coming. There are sections of the law that do not limit interpretation as per se. I'm telling you that because when you have been like that perjury now, say you don't have dual citizenship. It's as simple as that.
But
Suppose
that's why the judiciary has to really interpret. To
Yes,
know whether
I'm-
indeed, the law is not based on assumption.
Yeah, I know.
It has to be based
I know.
on facts and then
figures.
so we can sit back here and think, oh, this is what the law says. You get to court and then the judge says something different.
Why am I saying this?
Okay.
For our president-elect to say he wants to fight corruption, as for me, it's laughable. Because is the means at which, the desperation at which you enter office determines a lot. Since 1999, we have not been blessed with good leaders. Even during Jonathan, they say Jonathan is not corrupt, but the followers are corrupt. Buhari is not corrupt. The followers are. If you are not corrupt, those who are working under you, there's no way. That's why Peter would say, go and check my record. I heard that EFCC have investigated him. Can EFCC also investigate other people like that?
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
And you too.
God bless you.
And you, amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, that'll be the last call because we have quite a number of messages. Apologies if we won't be able to take your phone call, but let's see what we have in the message section. I have here, government should be held responsible for poor funding of education. Where I live, you will see where 3-bedroom apartments have been converted to schools. Derby Morgan from Iba. Thank you very much. Fight against corruption is war. Only a strong institution can fight and win, not one individual or administration. So if the president-elect is really determined to fight corruption, he will first purge himself out of it and make sure people he appoints to work with are corrupt-free. Thirdly, restructure and overhaul the anti-corruption agencies. Make them stand on their own in such a way that the law will restrain anyone interfering in their affairs. Be you who. Immunity or no immunity. You can be questioned. Yeah. Then you will see everyone sit up. Chika
yeah.
Bende from Trade Fair.
Strong institutions, I guess that's what he's saying.
That's what he basically is saying. It's not by one person. All right, we also have here, good morning to you, Sandra and Fuhad. My name is Pastor Sunday from Magboro. The two issues you have brought for our discussion is good. On Bat, saying he will fight corruption is a joke, in my own opinion. Bat and PMB are birds of the same feathers. Bat cannot fight corruption because he's a beneficiary of corruption in the highest order. Is it the judiciary that he's depending on that they will bring him to power that he will fight? He's only making a political speech so that his followers can believe him. On the story of unqualified teachers in the Southwest, I will say it's not only happening in the Southwest. Rather, it's everywhere in Nigeria. It is unemployment that pushes unqualified people to work in private schools. The federal government is a part of the problem. From my own findings, those people working in private schools are graduates of different disciplines, but they just embrace teaching professions in order to
take care of body and soul.
When they will have opportunity to work elsewhere. The federal government is part of the problem. Pastor Sunday from Agboro. Thank you very much. You know, we had a conversation as regards technical colleges. The question now is as regards teaching schools.
Yeah.
All right, we also have here Apostle Akinleye Hezekiah saying, good morning. I don't want to dispute what the person has said concerning much unqualified teachers in our school. I believe he's speaking from perspective of not having certificates in education as a background. We all know what they called methodology in college education sector. This is very important. Number two, no government can fight corruption unless you put systems to prevent it in place. But I don't get his first point, though.
No, I think he was talking about the fact that, there are methodologies to teaching and that you get from colleges of education and faculties of education. I think that's the way I can interpret that message.
Oh, okay. All right, we also have good morning, Sandra and Fuad. The teachers' regulatory body needs to go around these makeshift schools and demand that the schools be closed or these teachers be registered. But then, is the annual salary of these teachers enough to be registered and paid dues? As for the fight against corruption, although Bat has a large pocket, but I'm sure he'll frown at corruption, the judiciary needs to be truly autonomous without interference while fighting tooth and nail against disobedience to court orders. Joseph from Ogba. Unfortunately, that's the last message that we can take this morning. We still have quite a bunch more. I sincerely apologize if we're unable to take your message or your phone call. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning. I really, really appreciate. All right, but then stay tuned. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Mobola Sandra. Thank you, Fuhad, Saheed.
Happy birthday to you once again.
You don't know one wished me happy birthday.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't listen to the part where I wished you a happy birthday.
Please go to our Facebook and wish me happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Fuhad. I really appreciate it. Coming up next is our review half hour. So stay with us. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. There's still so much to look forward to. Join Okwayemi Akiyonde by 4 p.m. Situation Room. Today's open mic. And of course, Fuhad Saheed on Sunday for the most amazing political show in the country at this time. Political Roundtable from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.